Well, hello everybody. It is May the 12th, and I thought I would just quickly show you the end of Peekaboo. It is time. I've been moving the castings out into the garden and into our containers and doing drenches with castings and all sorts of good stuff. And so it's time to reduce my bedding bins. And just as I thought, Peekaboo actually beat my worm towers to finish. And you can see the lovely castings still left over here. I've been sifting them out using, I'll just move the camera here, using my sifter that is somewhere between 1/4 and 1/3 of an inch, I think. So I've been using that. And as you know, we had torn up Peekaboo's top grocery bag covers on March the 12th, so just exactly 2 months ago. And those brown paper bags are, greatly diminished, I think, in volume, but are still there. So they all sifted out. And of course, there's a lot of worms under this. So what am I going to do? I want to empty this bin. I don't need aged bedding probably until the fall. So what am I going to do? I am going to move it into the Eat My Shorts bin. That is, move the camera, right next door here. Here's Eat My Shorts. This also got a big infusion of Gilligan's worms, but it still has shorts material that needs to be eaten up. There's a pile of the shorts material and a pile of the worms. So there are a lot of worms in here, but they're going to get all of Peekaboo's worms and all of Peekaboo's leftover material. So Eat My Shorts is going to be the only bin I have indoors that is finishing off bedding in a big way, but you can see castings are building up in here too. So both of my bedding bins actually beat the worm towers. The worm towers I've been topping up with manure and whatnot, and they don't need this aging bedding. So I think I'm just going to add all of Peekaboo's contents to here, and I'm going to let Eat My Shorts run for a while. It'll be my only big indoor system, and then I will let the Eat My Shorts contents probably go into a storage tote like I did with Peekaboo, and let me just show you that. So here are the styrofoam containers I use for casting storage, and you will notice that the castings are not 100% finished that sift out, but they are pretty darn close. But you'll also see, hopefully, as I turn this material over, that there are worms in here. Some of Peekaboo's worms came along for the ride, and so I will just let them live here. So Peekaboo, I guess, has a reincarnation as a styrofoam tote worm bin. Not all of the worms will go in here, but any worms that come through the sifter, more or less, and certainly all of the cocoons, stay in here and will stay in here for a month or two until I need more worm tea and soil drenches and castings in my garden, probably in July. So I'll bring you back once I've added the two bins together. All right. Here are the final tidbits in Peekaboo. I wanted to show you that these larger chunks, of which I scooped out many, are the original bedding that I put in here. And I'll put the date up on the screen that I added this. These are office paper clumps. I've only added office paper once, and it clumped because I didn't have peat moss or coconut coir to break it up. It clumped together, and there are still little round nuggets of office paper. These are the technology packaging bits. They look like egg cartons. They wet down like egg cartons, but I'll tell you, they dry out a lot faster than an egg carton does. And they're thicker, and the worms do not go through them as quickly, although you see there's a worm in it right now. So I won't throw that. I'll put it on this tray. The worms do go through them, but much more slowly than egg cartons. So if you have technology packaging material, you get a new piece of equipment, your worms will go through it, but it takes a long time. All right, so this is just the last little corner. I assume there's a lot of worms in here. I've been scooping out worms. I've just been putting handfuls on this tray here and moving them over to eat my shorts. But I assume there's a lot of worms here. I know there's a lot of springtails here. So let's just see as I put these last few handfuls in, what are the worms doing under here? Look at them all. Okay, and that's about all I can put on this tray and safely take it over to eat my shorts. So let's do that. I'll just have to move the phone here. There's Eat My Shorts getting replenished with lots of Peekaboos, bedding, and worms. I've been scooping worms all along, but there are Peekaboo's worms going in to eat my shorts, some of them anyway. So let me see if I can go get some more. So I'll take you over here again. Sorry for the camera movement. More worms. Now remember, these worms, this was a bedding bin. So these worms came along with the original castings that I put in here to age the bedding. Plus they came in with Gilligan. I added some of Gilligan's worms. Come on, there's a crawler on the walls. Put him over. Came over with Gilligan. So I'm not going to take every last scrap out because I need to mist this down, because I'm sure there are wisps and juveniles tucked into those little scraps of castings, and I don't want to let this totally dry out before I start wetting it down. Usually what I do when I empty a bin like this is I take it outside and I rinse it out and just put it into the garden. So any wisps, cocoons, whatever that I miss, do not dry out, but actually get a new life outdoors. So, oh gosh, this is heavy. Much heavier than I've had before. So let me move over again, eat my shorts. Here we go. So I don't have any desire to weigh these worms, but there's a lot of worms in here. One stuck. There we go. Oh, again, there's one there. So what I do with those is I just put the lid in contact with the bedding and that worm will crawl out. But yeah, there's end of a bin. There's Peekaboo's worms now moved over to eat my shorts. This is a large 67 liters, which is 17.7 US gallons tote system. It has a huge surface dimension. I will measure it up and put that in the video. So it can take a lot of worms. They say, what do they say? 1,000 worms per square foot of surface area, something like that. So there are a lot of worms here, but then there is a lot of square footage. So I am not worried at all, and I am really interested in seeing what these worms can do to those shorts, to actually now finishing up Peekaboo. I've always been envious of other people's worm systems. I've mentioned to Patrick at Vermicompost Learning by Doing that his outdoor bin system that has something like 5,000 worms in it. I'm like, wow. So this will be my bin system with by far the biggest concentration of worms, because we've got all of the worms from Eat My Shorts, which I assume are at least equivalent. Plus we've got Peekaboo's worms now going in here. So this will be my worm bin with the most density of worms that I've ever had. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these worms can do. Finish off Eat My Shorts. And then both of these bedding bins, I'm going to give it a rest until probably September, October, when I will make them up again with aged bedding as I harvest my systems again and sit the castings through the winter. And they'll need to be replenished with aged bedding. But for this summer, I've got lots of manure. I've got lots of wood chip powder. I've got lots of shredded leaves still that we saved from last year. I do not need to do cardboard aged bedding until the fall. All right, take care, everyone.